This is like when I do my Peloton. And the
I
instructor
call the
goes,
Township of Aleppo workshop meeting on February 13th, 2023 to order at 7 p.m. Rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
President Jones,
Present?
Vice President Williams,
Present.
Commissioner Dara,
Present.
Commissioner Richard,
Present.
Solicitor Stone,
Here,
Manager Patterson.
This meeting will be recorded and uploaded to YouTube, as all meetings are. Do I hear a motion to approve the January 16th minutes?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions or discussion? All in favor?
Oh, wait,
Aye.
go ahead.
No. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Commissioner Dara?
Just wanted to raise the question of whether passing the deer feeding ordinance, should we do some sort of public spreading of the word that we've done that?
Have we done that?
It's on our website. Under latest news, we did put it on our website.
It's been broadcasted at Masonic Village. We'll put it on the TV.
I can send a copy of it to Susan at the Manor office. Do you think that would help?
I think we should do something to further publicize it.
How about a little notice in the Herald?
Sure, I can call them and see if they'll run something for us.
Yeah, because they're always looking for a paragraph.
Right, okay.
Thank you. Good idea. So, Manager Patterson, have we had any people offer to consider the Planning Commission vacancy?
I got one inquiry about, just from an older digest that was sent out, about one inquiry about what the process is to apply for any kind of opening. So I wrote back and explained the opening and, you know, how you can get your name in there, and I've not heard back from that person, so. Basically, no, not yet. No.
Is the
no news.
notification of the vacancy on our webpage?
It is on our website. I can put it back up at the top again, because, you know, other information gets there, but it's there, and it goes out in our digests asking people, so.
And could we have a dual message note in the Herald or any place else that we advertise the deer ordinance?
I can ask them if they'll run something like that.
Yeah, because frequently there are actions that have been taken by other municipalities in Quaker Valley.
Mhm.
So I think they would gladly accept a paragraph that had 2 points.
They do, the reporters are recipients of our digest, from what I understand, at least they were in the past, so I can
Okay.
make sure they get that and then follow up with it.
I'll put it up on 956 again.
So for anybody listening, or for anybody that sees this later, we have a vacancy and we'd love to have you have your interest.
Is there a particular skill set, George, that we're looking
I think-
for?
Not necessarily, it's not like a technical position, it's more about just reading plans, but not having to have engineering level reading of plans,
Okay.
and listening to the conversation and asking questions about what the development may be in the township. So it's just kind of just general interest in that kind of thing, and understanding, you know, what maybe to ask, and any level of experience. That's a board that takes a blend
Okay.
of experience.
And there's quite a lot of experience on the board at the moment,
Okay.
so I think they could learn quickly.
Okay. I think that's good for people to hear then.
Any other discussion about that vacancy? New business, Manager Patterson, Vecchio Plan of Lot Subdivision Plan.
The planning commission met this month and recommended approval of a subdivision plan for a lot that's along Red Gate Road. It's a triangle-shaped lot, and you have a copy of it in your packet. And it has one house on the smaller point of the triangle, and they're subdividing it off and creating a lot for another house to be built along Red Gate. So you'll have that motion to approve next week.
And that,
I can say, there's nothing particularly unusual about this. It's a pretty straightforward subdivision. Planning Commission looked at it and just, you know, pretty
Good.
much routinely approved it. There are no issues really, except there was an HRG letter which made some recommendations, right, Gwen?
Yeah, they usually have a couple recommendations, they're very technical. It wouldn't make it out of the planning commission if they were substantive problems. So it was a couple things that needed to be added to the
Right.
plan, so
Good.
they'll be added.
And I think the county also had some comments.
Yeah,
But again,
name change.
dealing more with the details of the plan than anything substantive.
Good. Gwen, would you like to explain why we need a new code officer?
Sure. We have a longtime building inspector, code enforcement official named Jeff Frazier, and he passed away suddenly at the end of December. And so we were in a bit of a pickle and scrambling to try to find someone to fill in some of those services because we had ongoing houses under construction that need inspection. So we contacted CodeSys, which is a company that we've talked with before. We had them many years ago for a small window of time. And we're working with them now, an inspector named Bruce Graff, and he's been very responsive so far. I mean, he's just picked right up and picked up the inspections and is giving very thorough inspections. So this is a contract to hire them, officially, to appoint them as the building inspectors. They do not do code enforcement services, so that will be, we'll have to find another solution for that, but this would be for the building inspection services.
And even though the fees are paid by third party, are the fees similar?
They're very similar, yes.
So, okay, good. Act 172 property tax refunds for first responders.
I think starting in 2018, the state law was, an act was passed to give some small tax rebates to various first responders throughout the state as long as they met the qualifications of the responding agency that they work for. So we don't set the criteria on who's eligible for this. If they're eligible according to the bylaws of the group they work for, and in this case, the Aleppo Township Volunteer Fire Company, they are the ones who certify the responders who have met the requirements, and then we just process the tax rebate. So it's 20% off of the local property tax, so the Aleppo property tax. We can't give rebates on other entities that charge taxes. Then they also get something of a discount on their earned income tax if they qualify also. So we have different volunteers that meet those different criteria. And so next week, I would be asking you to approve the list of rebates for this year, for the volunteers that qualify.
I think as we discussed when we decided on this, well-earned and well-deserved. Have we had any letters, emails from citizens?
Just that one, asking about the process for applying for the award.
Is there any other new business?
A question that might be partly new, partly old. Given the recent activity with regard to the sewer system and grant applications, I'm wondering whether, given the circumstance where the town owns the sewer system, has a contract with the authority to run it, whether the authority should be required to get our sign off on things like grant applications before they're submitted, not afterwards.
I think when we received legal opinion that there was liability potentially for the township, I think that would be more than appropriate. Anything that would involve us being involved. Could
Well,
you,
it's the owner, if it involves the sewer system, we're pretty much involved,
okay?
unless, Harlan, you think?
No, I totally agree. I think that's, I think it might, in the past, we don't have a commissioner serving on that authority board, do we?
I was served on it for a couple of months,
Right.
but I thought there was a question of whether that was inappropriate. I resigned.
No, it's appropriate. I'm not suggesting that you do it, but it does create a greater level of coordination on grant applications and developers agreements and things like that, if you do have a commissioner on that board. Or if you have a liaison, we did that for a while too, where you don't actually sit on the authority board, but you would act as a liaison and show up for the meetings. So when something comes up, you know, you have that connection. That's all I'm suggesting.
Do you think the actions you have in mind could be defined?
I'm sure it could, yeah,
Could you take a crack at that,
yeah,
please?
yeah.
I think there might be 2 or 3 areas of actions that would be appropriate to have us involved in.
Like
But we-
financial commitments.
Yes,
Right. Any kind of funding that involves the assets owned by the township, or any situation where you're pledging the assets of the township, I think is appropriate.
Define pledging.
Well, any kind of bond issue, which we have here.
Significant purchase contract.
Anywhere where the town, like I said, where the township, because it owns the assets, is, as Dan said, as Commissioner Dare said, is on the hook or exposed in any kind of a legal way.
Good old respondeat superior.
Agency.
would you take a crack at
I'll
that?
take a crack at it.
Thank you, and then Harlan can review it.
Is
We can
the fire department here a total separate entity?
Yes, the fire
Because
department.
There was a time when they had reciprocal, but I think that disappeared.
I don't think you have any legal liability vis-à-vis the fire department. I think that's a completely separate entity.
All right.
During the more tumultuous times, it was decided it wasn't a good idea to have a commissioner on the authority board or vice versa. But I think when Dan was, in essence, monitoring both, it was a good idea. So we'll think that through.
Okay.
But I think it's a good point. Any other new, old business? Meeting adjourned.